Martin Truex Jr. knows that his team has what it takes to win races and be in the running for the NASCAR Cup title this season. It just needs to be more consistent on and off the track. But he is also still angry about what happened a couple of weeks ago and feels he has been done dirty by NASCAR. Could this come back to haunt him? And will he change the way he approaches restarts in the future? This season, Truex's number 19 Joe Gibbs racing team has been very fast. So far, he's led laps in all but 2 of the 8 races he's been in. With 352 laps led, he's the 3rd most driven ahead in the series. In fact, his 18th place finish last Sunday at Martinsville Speedway was the worst of the 2024 season and the only time he wasn't on the lead lap at the end of the race. With that record and his 5 top 10 results, he is 2nd in the standings, even though he hasn't won yet this year. He has 295 points, 14 behind leader Kyle Larson. Truex is optimistic that his team can go from running well to winning, which is good news. I feel good about where we are at. We've had a top 3 to top 5 car every week, every race, with the exception of Martinsville last week, Truex, 43, said. We haven't quite capitalized on that over the course of some of these races, some of it in our control and other stuff that just hasn't worked out. We've been really consistent. We've been working on cleaning up some mistakes in several areas. I know the guys have been busting their tails working on pit stops. If we can clean that up a bit and they can get some confidence and get consistently fast, our cars are great and the team is doing a great job and clicking and working hard. Hopefully we can get our first win of the season here really soon. The race at Texas Motor Speedway on Sunday looks like it would be a great chance for Truex to get his first win of the year. Truex has usually done very well on the 1.5-mile intermediate tracks. 12 of his 34 wins have come on 1.5-mile tracks, like the one in Texas. Despite having a good record at Texas, 17 top 10s in 34 starts, including 3 runner-up places, he has not yet won a race there. It's always been a good track for us. In 2022, we were leading and we blew a tire. It's been one of those places where we have been snake-bit a lot, Truex said. We've had some good runs. We've had some struggles at times since they repaved it. Just one of those things. But I feel confident going there with what we have that will run well, especially how we ran there the last couple of years. It's been tough, we've gotten a lot of poles there and led a lot of laps, but we just haven't been able to win there. Truex Jr. hopes to be able to win again this weekend, but he'll have to make sure something like 2 weeks ago won't happen again. As Martin Truex Jr. still believes his Joe Gibbs racing teammate jumped the final restart at Richmond Raceway. My opinion is the same, Truex said about Denny Hamlin. On the restart for OT, they were next to each other, with Truex on the outside of Hamlin. Hamlin was in first place in the race because he beat Truex off of pit road. Truex had been in charge of the race and had led 228 laps before the caution. After saying at first that it was awfully close on the restart, NASCAR did not punish Hamlin. After 2 days, Elton Sawyer, NASCAR's senior vice president of competition, said that Hamlin did go early and that the officials might have made a different call earlier in the race. The former Cup Series champion said he doesn't know the restart rules and doesn't think anyone else does either. I've seen what was said, Truex said of NASCAR's explanation. I read what they said and I heard what Elton Sawyer said, that if it happened with 50 to go or 100 to go or 300 to go, they may have called. It's clear as mud. As the races go on, people have been talking about how closely NASCAR will watch the restart zone. Because of this, some drivers think that everyone will behave well so as not to get in trouble. One of them is Truex. Kind of. I guess if you try to jump, don't be surprised if they penalize you, Truex said. I don't know. I don't really understand. It's a black and white rule. You get to the box and you go. I don't really understand what all the questions are about. You go before it, you should get penalized. When asked if NASCAR needs more restart rules or something to police them, Truex said he didn't know the answer. There are 2 lines marked as restart zones. The race driver, the control car, has to fire first anywhere between them. It's hard to follow the rules and then somebody breaks the rules and doesn't get in trouble for it, Truex said. It's ridiculous. But Martin Truex Jr. said that he has moved on now. He said that his anger got out of hand because of his teammate Denny Hamlin's restart strategies and how frustrating the finish was. No, it's water under the bridge. I mean, it's a race, it's over, Truex said. I was frustrated. It's aggravating to lead an entire race, dominate a race, and then have it go away that way, because I think that's like the 5th or 6th time it's happened to Richmond. So you just get aggravated, and it all piles on in a short amount of time in just 10 or 15 minutes, and I clearly lost my cool and did some things I'm probably not proud of. But you move on, you go to next week, and you hope you come out on top and do a better job. Last weekend, Truex said that the two had worked out their differences. "It was just fine, he didn't do anything wrong," Truex said. Like I said, it all just piled on really quickly and I lost my cool. It happens." Part of the reason Truex bumped into Kyle Larson after the race was that they had been tagged in an extra incident. "He was in the wrong place at the wrong time," Truex said. "I mean, he slid up into me and I mean barely got me in the side in turns 1 and 2 and the lid popped off." In his explanation of his preemptive pounce on Saturday, Hamlin repeated what he had said earlier in the week on his Actions Detrimental podcast, that his attention was on Truex's car next to him and rival Joey Logano's car behind him. It was brought up that Hamlin might have gotten away with a no call. He agreed with the idea, but said the result would have been the same. "Yeah, probably. Yeah, more than likely. But again, even if I go in the box, I don't think the result changes at all," said Hamlin, who controlled the restart as the leader when the caution period ended. "I kind of explained it on Monday that when I'm looking around at, in the mirrors and through the side, I just know I'm in that vicinity, so I just kind of go when I feel it's right to go. So obviously, when I look back at it, I was not as close to the box." After 6 days, Truex said that his thoughts on the fateful Richmond restart hadn't changed. "I guess if you try to jump, don't be surprised if they penalize you," Truex said about his approach going forward. "I don't know. I don't really understand. It's a black and white rule. You go and you get to the box and you go. I don't really understand what all the questions are about. You go before it, you should get penalized." It's safe to assume that Truex Jr. is still mad about it. And in some way that's understandable, don't you think? And what do you think about Truex Jr.'s chances on winning some races this season? Will he be able to challenge for the title? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And what about this upcoming weekend? Last weekend at Martinsville, Hendrick Motorsports had an iconic 1-2-3 finish. Many fans are expecting that HMS will follow that up with another 1-2 finish on Sunday, this time with Kyle Larson leading the way. The number 5 Chevrolet driver has a history of putting on shows at 1.5-mile tracks. His win in Las Vegas earlier this year is the most recent proof of this. Since joining Hendrick, he's been in charge of 2,399 of the 7,017 laps on 1.5-mile races. For the next-gen era, Larson has won 3 1.5-mile races, making it the most wins on these tracks. He has also won 31% of all intermediate stages, 10 out of 32 stages. Larson has the most laps driven in the top 10, 438, and he is second in the world when it comes to laps driven in the top 5, 262. Larson's teammate and 3-time winner this season, William Byron, comes in second in these projections. Denny Hamlin of Joe Gibbs Racing, Ryan Blaney of Team Penske, and Martin Truex Jr. of JGR round out the top 5. The other drivers expected to finish in the top 10 are Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski, and Bubba Wallace. There have been more than 10 stops in each of the last 3 races at Texas Motor Speedway, so get ready for another exciting weekend in the middle of Texas. What do you think? Who will win and who will end up in the top 10?